One of the most important concepts in dog training is the idea of setting your dog up to succeed and not allowing them to fail. So because of that, throughout this week, you may find it advantageous to not walk your dogs. And the reason I say that is you are not going to be yet prepared with the tools and the skills necessary to address the problem behaviors that we're dealing with. And most of the exercises that we're going to be working on throughout this week can be done in your own home and in your own backyard. So we don't want to set the dogs up to be in a situation that we are not prepared to handle, and that's only going to perpetuate the stressful behavior for both yourselves and your dog. So as we already stated, this module is going to begin with a discussion of foundation work. And so the first question becomes, what is foundation work? And it can mean a variety of things, but for our purposes right now, we're simply referring to making sure our dogs understand the mechanics of some of the things that we're going to need them to do in order to address the problem behaviors later on. It's also going to refer to some behaviors that are helpful to be doing on a daily basis that affect your dog's overall state of mind, to put them in a better place to make them more receptive to learning and more receptive to being able to control their own emotions. So foundation work is both going to refer to exercises that are necessary from a mechanical standpoint for us to address the problems, but also, and a little bit more indirectly, exercises to be doing away from your walks, away from other dogs on a daily basis at home to help keep your dogs in a more appropriate state of mind and keep them more receptive to learning from you. The reason that foundation work is important is because it's really going to help us to be successful later on down the line. And most importantly, what it's going to do is really allow us to minimize the use of punishment later on in our work. So we really want to set our dogs up to be successful and make this process as easy on them as possible. The other reason that foundation work is important is because there's going to be some skills that we need to develop for our handlers, especially for those of you that may have less experience with dog training. So we want to make sure that you're comfortable with leash handling. We want to make sure you're comfortable with food reward delivery and comfortable with the way that you may need to move your body in order to address some of the behaviors later on. And we want to handle all of these things in a lower stress environment and lower stress context before you're in the heat of the moment and you may not be able to think as clearly and act as clearly. Another reason that we find foundational exercises to be very important is that we need to begin developing certain character traits in our dogs. Aggression and aggressive behaviors are strongly correlated to impulse control issues. So impulse control is something that I consider a character trait. We also want to begin to develop better attentiveness in our dogs and self-discipline. So some of the exercises that we're going to begin working on this week are going to affect your dog's behavior indirectly because we're helping to strengthen certain character traits within the dog through the use of these exercises and through the use of obedience.